So in this recording, we are going to talk about halotherapy. And let me first tell you what halotherapy is. It is exposure to kinetically activated dry salt. Here at Ahhsome, we use pharmaceutical grade salt because your body cannot absorb minerals other than salt through the lungs. And so when you have pink Himalayan salt, it's great and it's beautiful and it makes you feel all kinds of good. But if you're breathing in minerals into your lungs that your body's not made to take in, it can actually do less good than you're hoping to achieve. So we use pharmaceutical grade salt in our halotherapy cabins to make sure it is just the purest, best form of salt for your body to utilize for its healing purposes. The micro-sized salt particles in a halo cabin are inhaled, while the large salt particles are spread on the surface of your skin. Since dry salt is antibacterial and super absorbent, it actively kills bacteria and reduces inflammation in the respiratory system and opens the airway for better breathing. Medical studies in Europe have confirmed that the benefits of halotherapy are accumulative. In other words, they build on one another. Many adults and children suffering from asthma, allergies, cystic fibrosis, COPD, or other respiratory conditions found that 2 to 3 halo sessions per week helped manage respiratory problems and reduce the intake of respiratory medicines. So my dad has had pneumonia every year of his life, it seems, since he was a young kid. And a few years ago, he came in and I could hear it. It was happening. And I said, Dad, please let me put you in the halo cabin. And he would end up on major medications or even in the hospital. So it was a big deal. And he said, well, okay, I'll try anything. So I put him in the halo cabin and we did halotherapy every day for 6 days. And he never ended up in the hospital. He didn't even end up on the major antibiotics that he normally has to take. And now he calls it my magic salt box. So that's been really, really cool. It's always great when you can help out your own people with anything that with your knowledge, with your experience and expertise. So that was really a happy day. So if you have anybody who deals with pneumonia or those kinds of things, this might be a good alternative to maybe, before you go for other things. So with COVID these days, so many people are worried about getting COVID and also just dealing with the after effects of COVID. So here's what we've seen with this here at Ahhsome. We have a number of guests who have had COVID. They're now COVID-free, but they're still dealing with the after effects in their lungs. Personally, when I got it, I ended up with walking pneumonia. And so being able to come into the halo cabins has made just a huge difference in the bounce back, if you will, of our guests here. I was just visiting a few minutes ago with a friend of mine who her husband just died from COVID, actually, and she did have COVID. She's COVID-free now, but she feels obviously sad and heavy, and the salt therapy has not only helped with just kind of giving her a safe place to cry and feel safe with all the negative ions that are in the room, but it's also really helped her lungs to start to regenerate. We've seen that multiple times with multiple guests that we are hearing after they've had COVID and are COVID-free and are coming back to Ahhsome. They're just seeing incredible benefits from the halotherapy. So it's what we've seen. I don't know if it will be the case for you or for those that you love, but these are some of the things that we have personally seen here at Ahhsome. Also, interestingly enough, saw something on Fox News recently that said that salt kills viruses, and they're starting to put salt into masks because as the air passes through it, the salt somehow breaks down that virus. So that will be something that we'll continue to watch here at Ahhsome, but interesting in the news. So, all right, let's talk about where we get halotherapy or dry salt therapy from? It originates from speleotherapy, so a cave therapy, and the Wilicka salt cave in Poland is where it originated. They noticed that workers in the salt caves exhibited fewer respiratory illnesses than those who worked in coal mines. And so they would actually send coal miners to work in the salt mines in order to help them breathe better and to be healthier. Now, there are thousands of salt rooms like the ones that you see here at Ahhhsome in Europe and beyond. They are becoming quite popular here in the United States. We brought these in several years ago, and there were about 50 of them. Now there are so many, and it's awesome because we're able to help so many people with tons of issues. So it just makes me so happy to see these popping up all over the place. The benefits of salt therapy are wide-ranging. Salt levels affect our cell activity, energy, and blood sugar levels, and we've definitely seen the energy part here at Ahhhsome. It's a natural disinfectant. Salt is antimicrobial and antibacterial. The negatively charged ions in salt improve our health and mood. Inhaling particles may reduce inflammation and mucus in the lungs, improving respiratory conditions such as asthma, allergies, bronchitis, sinus congestion, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder or disease, otherwise known as COPD. Scientific studies show that people with asthma and other ailments breathe easier after halotherapy. So that's one really interesting thing. We had several nurses that came over from a local hospital. We had given them free visits, and they came over to use them, and they said, we just thought this was kind of a funny joke, and we just thought, oh, we'll go over and try this out. But they came, we gave them an awesome experience. They did the halotherapy, and all 4 of them had asthma. We didn't know that, obviously, and it was kind of bizarre to us that all 4 would have asthma, but they did. And they all said that they felt like they had taken an albuterol treatment, but they didn't have the shakes, and they became believers. They're some of our biggest fans. They come to Ahhhsome all the time, so it's really, really cool to have seen medical professionals really kind of change their tune a little bit after they experienced what they experienced here at Ahhhsome. Is that true for everybody? No, I'm sure it's not, but at least for these nurses who are pretty in tune with their respiratory systems, it was. So that makes us happy. The calming and detoxifying effects of halotherapy can support the immune, nervous, and lymphatic systems. Additional benefits are reduced stress and headaches, increased energy, and better sleep patterns. Salt ions purify the air and may increase lung capacity and reduce physical ailments for adults, children, and athletes. Treatments are recommended to help keep the body healthy during flu or allergy season. Now, one thing that we love about these salt cabins is if we have somebody who's just really high with anxiety or stress, headaches, those kinds of things, we will put them into a halo cabin when they come, and it's just so cool to see how they just kind of decompress, how they just will calm down and be able to just kind of focus on what's really important right in front of them instead of just be all over the place. We have also really seen cool things with teenagers. So we've had, anxiety in teens is really, really high right now. And we've seen parents come in with their teenagers and tell us they've had some of the best conversations they've had with those teens, either in the salt cabins or after they've left. My friend that I was telling you about a few minutes ago, she has found that her husband passed away, that the salt therapy has just been one of the best places for her to just be able to feel safe and have a good cry. So salt therapy isn't just for respiratory issues, it's also for emotional because of the negative ions, and we'll talk about that in another recording that we'll put at the end of this so that you can hear it all in one. But anyways, I just want you to know it's more than just for respiratory issues. So skin conditions, let's talk about that for a minute. Skin conditions can also be improved with halotherapy, psoriasis, rashes, eczema, and acne. Experts note that the concentration of particles in halotherapy is about 10 to 15 times the concentration found by the sea. So a 30 to 45 minute session is equal to about 3 days by the sea. There are close to 200 salt rooms or beds in the U.S. This was a couple of years ago, actually, when this information was given out, so it's even more now. But testimonials from clients do support the health claims, and many say that they have less need for inhalers and decongestants, but also for skin. We've had a number of moms bring in their littles to use it for their baby's skin, whether it's eczema or we've had several who have just really bad allergies and break out in hives, and they'll come in, strip their babies down to their diapers in the children's Halo cabin and just let them play for 30 minutes, and it's made a huge difference for them. And I know for me, if I have an acne breakout, and actually a lot of my staff, if we break out, the Halo cabin and a little red light, holy cow, it's just absolutely incredible. So I hope this has helped you learn a little bit more about halotherapy. I also want to note that this is an incredible therapy for pregnant moms, because our lung capacity is diminished when we're pregnant and our body is under a lot of stress. Putting your body into a zero gravity position, which we'll also talk about in another recording that I'll attach to this, between the zero gravity therapy, the light therapy, and the halotherapy, this is just absolutely incredible for pregnant moms. Just releases a lot of that stress and tension in their bodies and really helps them to be able to feel some peace and some calm. So anyways, I hope this has helped, and keep listening for the other information that we'll add to the end of this recording to teach you about zero gravity and light therapy. Thanks, and have an awesome day.